Hey folks, welcome back, or of course, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot for the first time if you're new here. And as I always say, thank you so much for joining us for our pick a card reading today. Now, today's topic is very fitting for the time of year if you're watching at the time of upload as the veil starts to thin and, it gets to be spooky season, right? B, it's also kind of a remix of a topic I did on my channel over a year ago. So for those of you that have watched me since then, you probably won't even remember what it was or what was said in that particular video. And for those of you, of course, that are newer to my channel, well, this will be brand spanking new fresh for you too. So I thought, let's do it. It's perfect. And of course, as you can tell by the title you clicked on, today's topic is what spirits are around you, plus their messages for you. So it's kind of open-ended like the first time I did this particular topic. It could be ancestor spirits that are around you. They very commonly come forward in readings like this. It could be like spirit guides and or like angels, those types of beings around you. And fittingly for spooky season, spirits might come forward that are around you in terms of your living space or your working space, aka as we call them in culture, ghosts. But I'll make sure that we don't connect with anything negative, no poltergeists or anything of that sort. Positive spirits only. So without further ado, let us choose our pile leaders to pick our messages with. So calling on positive spirits only for the highest best good of all watching, all partaking in this reading. Please guide us to the right cards for your messages. Thank you. Positive spirits only. Okay, feeling drawn to this part of the deck. And right there. So for pile number 1, ooh, beautiful. We have love as your pile leader. For pile number 2, your pile leader is, very fitting for the year, change. Or, I'm sorry, time of year, not the year. Beautiful. And for pile number 3, your pile leader today is adventure. Wonderful. So just to reiterate, pile 1, you're love. Pile 2, you are change. Pile 3, you are adventure. Though, as I always say, you're perfectly welcome to pause on this part of the reading right now if you need more time to decide what pile you would like read for you. If you're new to pick a card readings and you're like, I don't know what method to do, like how do I choose? Or maybe you've had a really stressful day and you just want a nice, peaceful moment. Please follow my voice right now. So close your eyes, take in a deep cleansing breath, the deepest breath you've taken in all day, then hold it for just a few moments. And as you do, imagine light filling your lungs. And then when you breathe back out again, imagine breathing out negativity in whatever way that manifests for you. I always kind of imagine it like a dark cloud kind of. And then open your eyes. And where are they drawn most first out of these 3 piles, out of love, change, and adventure? And you'll feel it right down in your gut, in your intuition, as we like to call it, when you're looking at the right pile for you. And that's the pile I recommend that you choose. But whatever your method, when you are ready, drop down to the description box below or the top pinned comment. Find the timestamps there for each pile. And I'll see you in our chat about the spirits around you, plus what messages they want you to hear. See you in the reading. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about what spirits are around you, plus their messages for you. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the pile leader of love. So we have a figure. She is playing some sort of instrument. Can't quite tell what it is. Looks like maybe a pan flute. And there is a dove, of course, in the upper left corner. And what I felt, even as I was drawing this in the intro, although I didn't say it at the time, pile number 1 is, I think, most prominently, this is an ancestor spirit coming forward for everyone who chose this pile today. So some sort of ancestor, some sort of, I can't tell quite what gender yet. I will pull some cards right at the beginning to kind of parse out more about who this person is coming forward for most of you, but it is definitely like ancestor energy that's coming in. Okay, so with that said, let's put this over here to the left. And speaking of the Oracle deck, to parse out who they are, we're going to use the Citadel Oracle to start. So ancestor or other spirits may be coming through too. Positive ones, remember, for pile number 1. Can you tell us more about who you are? Or who you were in life, maybe. Okay, we have the painter that already came out. So probably someone very creative. Maybe someone that was literally a painter of some sort. Or maybe if it wasn't just in a creative manner, literally maybe they did painting as a job in terms of like homes, interior design, painting walls, things like that, painting houses. But once again, it is also a card of like literally like being a painter, of like some sort of artistic pursuit. So even if not painting, it could also be they were an artist in terms of like drawing or music or something along the lines of being highly creative. Also, we have the keyword productivity alongside creation, and that makes me think of someone that was very hardworking, especially with productivity. They didn't rest on their laurels. They didn't sit idly by. Maybe they had a bit of an issue with, what's the word? Resting. Maybe they really nose to the grindstone a lot in their life. Now, some of you, this ancestor might be someone that's farther back and you're like, well, who the heck is this, right? Some of you, this might be an ancestor and you're like, oh my God, that's like my grandparent. Like, you might actually recognize them from this particular incarnation. I'm getting the feeling for most of you do recognize who this is, but let's keep going with the Citadel Oracle to see what else pops out, because I'm very curious. Now, this card was very prominently poking into my hand, so I'm going to take it. We have the Sleeper. So, cause and effect and clarity. Interesting. I almost feel like this might be a separate spirit coming through for you as well. Like, the Painter is 1. And the Sleeper is 2, though I think they're both ancestors is the energy I'm feeling off of this reading pile, number 1. This person seems to me like they might have had with Sleeper, it makes me either think that like they died in their sleep, or it's also because of the keyword clarity that perhaps they had some sort of like cognition issues or like cognitive issues before they passed away, especially as we get into older age. Sometimes we suffer from things like, Alzheimer's or dementia is another thing. And perhaps that's why that's coming through. It's like there's some sort of thing that occurred that it caused an issue with like clarity in their life, especially towards the end. Or for some of you, this might also be that they were, this is like a general reading. Some things might resonate with some of you. Some other things might resonate with others. I'm also hearing that some of you, this ancestor, was someone that might have been blind, okay, because of the closed eye. Like, they were unable to at least, like, physically see. Or maybe they also had, like, an issue with their eye in life, if not with both of them. And in terms of elemental distribution here, we have water with the Painter with the reverse triangle, and we have fire with the Sleeper with the upright triangle. So that's another reason why I felt like this might have been 2 spirits coming forward, or ancestors specifically, because those are so opposite elements. Like, one was more of like a water type. Maybe they even had a water sign as their sun sign. And one might have been more like a fire type in terms of like their personality or their astrological like sun sign, for an example. Very interesting. I also will grab the Pastoral Tarot. I want to see more about maybe who they are, as well as kind of what they want to talk to you about today, though we will, of course, see that with your other Oracle cards and Tarot. So, spirits coming forward for pile 1 today. Can you tell us more about like who you are and why you're coming forward? Especially with ancestors, I feel like they often come forward because there's something about their life that is reflective of what's going on in your own right now, and that's like why they want to come forward and talk to you. Like, hey, I went through this too. Let me talk to you about how like I got through it, or like what my advice is. They tend to be really good sources of advice, in my opinion, my experience. So, all right, thank you, spirits, for pile number 1. And then also, too, when we think about the elemental distribution here, we have a fire and a water, right? Water often tends to be, it's like a feminine element, and then we have, fire is a masculine element. So I think maybe a masculine and a feminine ancestor coming forward is what it feels like to me, because it's just so 2 opposite energies. Maybe they were even a couple. Maybe it's like this, a grandfather and a grandmother, or, parents of yours that were a couple. And then the card we have is, oh, beautiful, the Wheel of Fortune. We have a water wheel with an eagle, looks like swooping down on the river. Maybe they lived near a river. Maybe they lived near a water wheel of some sort, or they were had like an affinity with mechanical engineering, that type of thing. They were like mechanical minded, or at least one of them was. Someone that maybe even, it could be like a surname like Miller, something along those lines. Especially if, you're from like a Germanic family or Anglo family, right? Let's see. Anything else I can pick off of this in terms of where they lived and their personality? Down to earth, I can tell you that hardworking folk, one or both of them especially, and oftentimes, if it's like a couple, they obviously lived in similar circumstances, at least when they were together. Something with water and mills and rivers. And you could also be like a lake shore too, or ponds. Maybe they're around sort of like lake houses or lived on a pond of some sort. And the Wheel of Fortune itself, pile number 1, is a card about, well, kind of what it says on the tin, fortune. It's about fate. It's about what goes up must come down and vice versa. And especially with this particular deck, which I always read upright because this deck is like a landscape deck. It doesn't, you can't really reverse it very well. Because of the nature of this deck, I'm reading this upright, and the Wheel of Fortune upright tends to mean good fortune in some way. So I think it's like they either want to tell you something good is coming forward for you, like something lucky or some sort of fortune that you've been looking for. And I did kind of feel that too with the love card when it first popped out. Not only the ancestor energy that was very prominent, but at the same time, it was also this feeling of something that you were pining for, something that you would love to have, like hence the keyword love. Like it wasn't romantic love that I necessarily got a vibe off of with the love card. It was more love of the soul of something like not related to relationships necessarily. So they want to tell you something about a fortune, some sort of good luck, like your fortune's turning in some way. Maybe they were, here's another thing that's also popping for. There's a lot of birds, pile number 1. We have the bald eagle here, and then of course the dove and the love card. Maybe they were associated with birds, or there was some sort of thing with like their surname, their last name that was related to birds. That could also be prominent too, because of how many birds are coming forward. Yeah, let's look at your tarot spread. That will give us more. And of course, how fittingly we're using the Ghosts and Spirits Tarot today for the main deck. Spirits, ancestors of pile 1 coming forward. Can you tell us more about the story of like where this is all coming from? What's the situation going on in pile 1's life, and like where's it going in terms of like this fortune or like this turn of luck that you're talking about? Thank you. What is it that you want to tell them? Okay, that was... Let's see how many cards that is. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, how fitting. I don't even have to pull any cards because the 5 just popped out. So we'll take those. Thank you, spirits. That was very quick to the point. I don't know if they were blunt people, but maybe very blunt. They just, no filter. Okay, so the very first card that popped out on the bottom, we have Temperance reversed. Yes, Temperance reversed. And which we have water again. Okay. So that can mean some area of your life where something's been out of balance or has like lacked moderation in some way. Too much of one thing that's not good, or not enough of something that is good. And yes, we have a bird again with the swan. And she's winged too, this figure in the card. Just birds everywhere, I don't know. Then we have the King of Pentacles. Okay, so maybe perhaps related to your career and your finances as well. Because now we're in like... to the kind of recent past card with this position that this one is in. And the King of Pentacles is often, mastery over the things around us in terms of the material. So our career, our finances, stability, things along those lines, especially external stability being the masculine-oriented nature of the card because it's a king, right? Not a queen. So once again, too, we have a farmer. It almost looks like... Yeah, because I think he has a scythe up here, and this figure almost kind of looks like a shepherd or a farmer of some sort. So maybe these ancestors were farmers. Maybe that's why they were so down to earth, is what I was feeling. Lots of water, too, as I was saying. So something about your stability, getting back in balance. And then the third card in the middle is the 7 of Wands, feeling like everything is against you, feeling like you're surrounded, but trying to defend yourself. Okay, we'll talk about that more in a minute. And then the fourth card is the Queen of Swords. Using your intellect to get out of something or to fix something. Could also represent a person involved. And then last but not least, we have the 9 of Wands. So speaking of determination energy, that's literally what the 9 of Wands means. Being determined to do something, having the stamina to get through or to go through with something. Interesting, pile number 1. Something about your finances, stability. I almost wonder if some of you are going through a situation with your job right now or related to your job, like if you're not currently employed, like in your job search, if that's like your situation. So just kind of, take this as it resonates with what's going on in your life right now, but related to your financial, like career stability, etc. I wonder if a lot of you are struggling with something right now with somebody that's been kind of getting in your way, or someone that's been not very nice to you, just to say it very broadly, because, and I want to say it's a feminine air sign because of that Queen of Swords that popped up here. And it's like the way this is depicted here in the Seven of Wands in the very middle. I don't know if you can pick this up on the camera. It's a very detailed deck, so sometimes the finer details are hard to pick up that farther away. But basically, it's like this person in the forefront who is getting like his soul like sucked out of him by whoever like this being is up here. So not a very fun type of energy. Just like the Seven of Wands represents that feeling of being kind of surrounded and having to defend oneself. It almost feels like this person is kind of like sucking your soul out of you in a metaphorical way. And it's like your ancestors are coming forward because they want to tell you that that is going to change in terms of your fortune with whatever the situation is, okay? That, or there's like some aspect about this job or this career or the search for a job that has been very like soul-sucking, that you've had to feel like, oh God, everything's against me. I feel like nothing's going my way. That Seven of Wands energy, that like that's what's going to turn around here with the Wheel of Fortune, which also, I just remembered, October is the 10th month of the year, right? So it feels like maybe it'll happen, if you watch this at the time this is uploaded, it might happen even within the month of when you watch this, or of course, if you're watching this in the future, you know, move that to like the next October after when you're looking at this video, right? But, and yeah, that Queen of Swords is, you know, she's upright. So it doesn't necessarily mean negative, but I get this intuitive feeling that that's part of like your ancestors describing who this obstacle is, if it's like a person related. So, you know, maybe you have like a feminine energy person at your job who is like an air sign, and she's the one that's maybe been kind of like soul sucking. Maybe it's your boss, maybe it's your manager, etc. A coworker that hasn't been like perhaps the nicest. Because, you know, the Queen of Swords upright can mean someone that is very intelligent and logical, especially when it comes to, like, how they internally, mentally sort through things, because being feminine, she's, like, an internal energy rather than outwardly, like masculine ones are. So, although a Queen of Swords in the bad way can mean someone that is cruel or ruthless or sharp of tongue, so I think with her being upright, it's almost like maybe she even says things that, like, on the surface don't really feel like it's bad, but then you think about it later and you're like, oh, that was passive-aggressive. It's like very subtle negative energy if it's as a person, for those of you that resonates. That, or if, like, this is an obstacle or, like, something that just feels kind of soul-sucking out of you, even if it's not, like, a person, it's this Queen of Swords, I would say, in that interpretation is representative of you using some sort of insight that you get, because the Queen of Swords is a card of air. She's, as I said, a good thinker. She's someone that's very logical. She knows how to, like, cut through problems with her intellect rather than, like, you know, other methods that, like, the other queens would use. But in the end, no matter what, pile number one, you get that Nine of Wands. And this is almost like, I don't remember exactly what folklore or, like, type of spirit this is, but it almost kind of reminds me of, like, someone defeating a giant, because you have, like, the boy here, or, like, the younger figure going up against, like, this giant being, which you wouldn't think that they would win, but of course, you know, you have stories of, you know, different mythologies all over of people outwitting, like, using their brains to outwit, like, different variations or, like, varieties of, like, giant creatures. Like, I think, what was it in, might be in the Odyssey, there's one that outwits, like, a cyclops. It's something along those lines. Greek myth is what I'm, like, mine immediately goes to. But anyway, so back to the regular point of the reading. It's like, this Nine of Wands is you overcoming that giant obstacle in your way. Even though it seems like the odds are against you, and it's like, oh, I don't know if that kid can really take down that giant, something comes along that fixes it because of this turn of luck. Okay, so basically what your ancestors are saying here, pile number one, to summarize, you're overcoming an issue related to your job or your job search that has been causing balance issues or things being out of moderation, or kind of helter-skelter is another word I might use, or phrase. Something that's been soul-sucking, or a person that's been kind of soul-sucking out of you. And through your wit and your intelligence, and through also just turns of luck too, being the Wheel of Fortune, because Wheel of Fortune can represent things that are out of our hand. It's like a fate-related thing. Those things in tandem together fix the issue, and then you have the determination of the Nine of Wands. I'm going to get through this. You're going to come through this just fine, is kind of the message that these ancestors are bringing forth to you. Now, let's look at your oracle cards too, pile number one, because Or I'm sorry, you have one oracle card left. Yes, because we have Citadel, Pastoral, and the Vintage. Yes, we have one left. So I'm going to ask them for like a parting message for you. So spirits, ancestors of pile 1, anything else you want to say to them about this matter? Any like details or advice? And I want to say, the other thing coming forward as I'm drawing this, I was looking at the sleeper card again, pile 1. I feel like that ancestor spirit coming through, that's the sleeper, they're not as active as a spirit. I don't think they reach out to you a lot, so you might be kind of shocked that this particular one is talking. I feel like maybe the painter one does more, but... Okay, they're saying this one, so let's go with this one. We have, hope. Oh, beautiful. We have hope. Okay, yeah, so they're saying pile 1, I know it's been difficult. I know that this has been a pain in your butt, just to put it lightly, right? But they're saying to have hope that things are going to get better. It looks right now like nothing's going to get better. It looks like it's this insurmountable obstacle, and I think that's why these cards have come out the way that they have. But they're basically saying through the turn of fate to the Wheel of Fortune, and through, of course, your own power there, too, especially if the Queen of Swords is representative of you, you're going to overcome whatever this is. Let me just, as one final question, I want to ask the ancestors for more clarity on how precisely. Like, I know we talked about fate, we talked about, you know, your intelligence and or like things coming about, but through those methods. But I want to ask more. So spirits, ancestors of pile 1, can you give us maybe like 2 or 3 cards? How is this overcome? Like, maybe the vehicle through which the universe works with it. So that's probably, if I were you, pile 1, that's what I would ask most. So this card really just says pick me, so I'm taking it. We have the Tower reversed. Okay, so avoiding a disaster, or something that is like a disaster waiting to happen, and like someone puts it off. I feel like if it's a person involved, pile number 1, that's been the pain in your butt, they know their days are numbered here. That's kind of what the Tower also can represent reversed. Like, they know their days are numbered, and they've just been putting it off. Like, you might already even kind of see it coming for them. Whoever the soul-sucking person is. Or if it's not a person, it's something that's like inevitably it's going to fall apart someday. Or, like, sometimes, too, like, the Tower reverse can mean avoiding a disaster of some sort. So let's look at the other clarity cards. We have the 9 of Cups, wishes granted. We do have someone that's holding someone else on their back. I wonder if another person gets involved. I wonder if that might also be the Queen of Swords, too. Like, another person gets involved, especially because I know it's a Cups card, but she's, like, floating in the air. Literally flying. Like, they come and they help get the wish granted. And then we have the Hanged Man reversed. Like, they're trying to make themselves look like a victim, but it doesn't work. Because sometimes the hangman can mean reverse, like someone trying to make themselves like a victim or a martyr. It can also mean needing to look at things from a different perspective, upside down. So, So disaster avoided or inevitability, wishes granted, and different perspective or martyr, victimhood. I think that's why the borrowed time thing has come forward, pile 1. Like, borrowed time is the phrase that's coming over prominently from your ancestors here. Like they're living on borrowed time with this. It's like they know it's coming, and you might know it's coming for if this is like a person that's been the obstacle. It's just a matter of time, and that's why they're saying have hope. Like, maybe even some of you have been thinking about leaving this particular job, and they're like, well, wait a minute, because this is going to resolve itself. Don't, like, jump out of here yet, because this is going to get fixed. Either way, though, it's not going to work out for that person in the end. They're going to be... They're going to be kind of cast away. So, I mean, obviously, what that means in terms of, like, a job, I think probably, like, they'll be let go. Okay, or like demoted in some way where like the power is taken from them. I can also kind of see that with the Hangman reversed, or like I said, for those of you that's not a person necessarily, how this resolves is like a disaster is avoided, a wish is granted with these 2 cards, and then The Hangman then in that case reversed would mean like you can kind of see it coming now, but you need to look at it from a different perspective to understand, oh, okay, maybe it won't be as bad as I'm thinking it is, or like there is a way out of here that I didn't expect. As long as I keep being determined, like with the Nine of Wands message, and keep having hope, as that was the other final oracle card that your ancestors gave you, okay? So yeah, just to summarize, pile 1 is ancestors telling you this turn of luck's coming your way. Something that's been soul-sucking you is going to finally come to a conclusion, so you don't have to worry about that dreadful feeling is kind of what I'm intuitively picking up on of whoever this is or whatever this is regarding like your job or your career. Like, please have hope is what they're saying. It's going to get back into balance. Like, they're like, I know it's out of balance right now with temperance, but just hold on. Keep going. Don't jump ship yet. This will resolve. Okay. So that was your message for today, my wonderful pile number 1. I hope, of course, most of all that you liked it and it resonated and it helped you. And if so, as I always say, please like the video, comment down below, please subscribe too if you haven't done so already. I am always ever grateful if you decide to subscribe to the channel. That helps keep the dream of the channel alive and the channel healthy and growing. And as we always say in our tradition as well, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 1. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about what spirits are around you, plus the messages they have for you. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the card of change. How fitting for this time of year, as I said in the intro, not only just because of the word itself, but the scene itself is of a woman in an autumn field, it almost looks like, with a tree and a barn owl above her. So I'm feeling, I can't quite tell right off the bat if this is an ancestor or if this is more like a spirit unrelated to like a ghost, pile number 2. And I say that because like pile number 1 today, immediately I was like, oh, ancestor, it hit me even while I was drawing it in the intro. But there's kind of a mixed energy here with your particular card. The way I interpret that as I see it is I think it might be both potentially an ancestor coming forward for you today and like a spirit that's within like somewhere where you reside, like your home or like workplace, places that you go. We'll see. I do get a feeling though, because of the owl, they tend to be symbols of like messengers from beyond. So definitely kind of gives me, as I said, ancestor or like spirit energy in terms of like a ghost. Even the form of the woman herself kind of looks sort of ghostly with what's wrapped around her. So we'll see. Let's grab the Citadel Oracle to begin. I'm going to ask them to identify themselves a little bit more. And of course, my intuition will also spark, giving some more messages. So spirits for pile number 2 today. I think you might be ancestors. You might be just positive spirits around them physically more. Not related to them. Can you tell us more about who you are? Maybe in a way that pile 2 might recognize you. Now, sometimes when ancestors come forward, pile 2, we don't, like, they're farther back, so we're kind of like, well, who is this? So if it doesn't necessarily resonate, that might be why. That, or sometimes there's spirits around us that we, even if they're unrelated to us, we're like, I didn't even know that person was there, so. Please identify yourself. Okay, feeling this part of the deck. I did just get an intuitive hit. I feel like for a lot of you, one of the spirits coming forward is a spirit that you've seen in your house. Now, actually, it might be related to you as an ancestor, but yeah. There's something like you see at the corner out of your eye, like a face. It sounds really creepy, but people that have had spirits in your house, you know how that works, right? So, yeah, it's like you see them out of the corner of your eye, and it's like you've maybe seen their face before. And or they were very kind of like pale in terms of like what they were wearing, like white clothing in some way, or they wore, if this is an ancestor that you're recognizing, like they wore white clothing a lot, or you see them with white clothing a lot when you've seen them manifest. Let's look at these Citadel Oracle cards. We have the Spy Master with knowledge and distrust with the element of fire with a crow. So maybe they were associated, if this is an ancestor that you're recognizing, they were associated with a crow. Maybe they had a pet crow or fed crows when they were alive. Interesting. Or I'm also hearing some of you might often hear a crow Like, not just regular, I mean, crows are everywhere, you know, pretty much around the world, but, like, you might hear a crow often that's kind of very specific around your household. There's something there with, like, a crow around your home. And then we have the diviner, another element of fire, divine timing and evaluation. Yes, okay, so I will tell you this. Some of you, this is, like I said, a spirit in your home that you've seen around. There's something to do with, like, crow symbolism as well. I don't think they're very prominent in that they scare you, or, like, that they don't feel like bad energy at all. As I said in the very beginning of the intro, I was like, we're not going to call in anything negative, of course, but so that naturally would kind of sort those out. But what I'm saying is, it's like they're like timid. This is like a timid spirit. Like, oh, I'm going to peek out at you, but I'm not going to come forward prominently or, like, do anything super in your face. Or that, too, I think, for those of you, this might be, like, an ancestral connection or spirit. It's, like, someone who was into spooky, quote-unquote, stuff when they were alive. Because especially with a diviner, it makes me think of someone that was into, like, divination of some sort. Maybe that's where you got it yourself if you're into divination. Maybe you're like, oh, kind of like this passed down through my bloodline. Or maybe they were the one that taught you, you know, say if you know how to do, like, tarot or, you know, like, other types of fortune telling or, like, cartomancy, etc., Lenormand, whatever, what have you. It's like, but I feel most of you, this is a spirit, if not an ancestor. Most of you, I think it's unrelated to you, or they're unrelated to you. But they're very peaceful. Like I said, very timid, very shy, not in your face. They're not there to be a pain in your butt, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, not a poltergeist, right? So, spirit that's coming forward for pile 2 today, why are you coming forward? And can you tell us maybe just a little bit more about yourself with this deck? Or, like, what's the theme of the message you have for them? What is it that you want to tell them? What do you want them to know? What do you want to say about yourself more? And 2, if this is an ancestor that you're recognizing that haunts your house, they likely were a fire sign, pile number 2, because you got 2 fires there with the diviner and the spite master. Right there. Okay, thank you, spirit. We have the Queen of Wands. Well, speaking of fire, go figure. And then we have another bird there with a cardinal. Maybe cardinal is lots of birds. Pile 1 had a lot of birds too, but you have a crow, you have a barn owl, and then you have a cardinal here. And then some of you, I wonder if some of you have a pet that reacts to the spirit in your house, maybe specifically a cat. I mean, specifically here we have it looks like a brown tabby cat sitting in the chair. And maybe it's, like, kind of outside, too, because I was thinking, like, there's something to do with, like, the way, like, the crows call that maybe you hear. And then now we have a picture of someone that's, like, outside gardening. Like, maybe you, and even, too, like, the diviner, like, that is a seed that they're holding. I almost wonder if this is, like, an outdoor spirit, too. Like, but it's around where you live. Like, maybe you've seen them outside, but they're, like, around your home. It's something along those lines. And then the Queen of Wands is, yes, feminine energy. So I get the feeling this is probably a female spirit, pile number 2. And on top of that, the Wands is that fire element we were talking about before. Someone who's, can mean someone who's confident, or someone who's very creative, someone who's very charismatic, or it can mean that they tend to manifest a lot when you're doing things related to creation energy. So, literally gardening, right, is creation energy. But also in creative ways in terms of, maybe you make music or art or things like that, and it's kind of maybe what they're drawn to a little bit, but there is that specific message about it feeling like outdoors a lot. It's like you see them outdoors a lot, or you sense them outdoors a lot, even if you don't necessarily see them. Perhaps had red hair. We do have a red-headed woman here in the picture. And in terms of the message or like the theme that they want to share with you, Queen of Wands is about, like, it can be a message of, like, you need to be more confident about something. I almost wonder if they want to pay you a compliment. I know that sounds really odd, pile number 2, to be like, here's a reading about a spirit around your house that wants to pay you a compliment, but that's kind of what I'm feeling. Let's look at the tarot spread. I want to see this in more detail. This is fun. Thank you, spirit, for coming forward. They do seem very nice. They don't, like I said, there's no bad energy here. Can you tell me more about what you want to tell them? And how fittingly we're using the Ghosts and Spirits Tarot. What's the whole message from the beginning of, like, why you're coming forward to, like, what the message is more? Like, more details, please. Thank you. They could even be a nature spirit of some sort, pile, too. I wonder if that's why there's so much nature imagery. Nature spirit, outdoors, kind of. Number 1, we have the Chariot. Literally a figure outdoors in the snow. Okay, the Chariot driving forward. Maybe the way that you take control of something. Okay, and this is going to sound really oddly specific. So for a lot of you, this might not resonate, but I want to say it because it is coming forward. I wonder if some of you either inherited or bought where you live right now, or you rent it, whatever. And it's like there was an older female person who lived there before, who maybe died in the place, apartment, house, etc. And, like, they had kind of left it a little bit more in bad disrepair, or, like, bad... Like, maybe even the yard specifically was out of, like, disrepair. It was kind of messy, so to speak, because maybe, especially, you know, as people get older, sometimes it's hard for them with, like, you know, mobility issues or, like, you know, cognitive issues, like if they have dementia or Alzheimer's, for them to, like, do the things that they used to, of course. So sometimes, like, things kind of slip through the cracks. You know what I mean? Pile number 2. And I think with the Chariot coming forward is, like, the first card. It's like they're complimenting you on, well, thank you. Oh, especially even with the key. Like, literally, like, oh, I hand you the key to where I used to be. Or I used to live. And it's like with the Chariot, they're like, thank you for taking the reins or control over that. I wonder if that's why it's a compliment. They're like, thank you for making this beautiful again, is what I'm hearing. They're very positive. They're not negative, as I said before, pile, too. So if any of you are like, who the heck is this? I'm creeped out. This doesn't sound like you didn't know that the spirit was here. Please don't worry about it. Like, this is like a friendly granny type energy. It's not, you know, a friendly older woman, you know. And then we have the Moon reversed. Okay, so revealing illusions for what they are, or illusions dissipating. You know, and I wonder too if they tend to do things around the place where you live that you thought was weird or out of place, but it really was them. Okay, let's keep going. We have, look at all these major arcana. The Emperor reversed. Okay, yeah, so like lack of structure, lack of, you know, might even have been a widow, because the Emperor reversed can mean like maybe she had been married at one point to a husband, but then like the husband had passed, and then so she was like a widow. And might have been another reason why things kind of got out of control, because like nobody helped her too. Let's keep going. And then we have the Page of Swords. Yes, okay, so someone new coming in. Youthful energy. You might be an air sign, specifically pile number 2. And it's like you coming in, and, you know, we have like a wild wood here. Like literally, like everything's kind of untamed. And then we have like a wolf, which you think of as like a wild creature. And then you take the sword, and let's look at the final card. We have the Knight of Pentacles reversed. And that is a female spirit with the snake in the water. I'm not exactly sure what type of spirit that represents in terms of folklore, but interesting. Knight of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, because it's like they're saying, I couldn't take action anymore with the earth, the material around me. Like, that's what a Knight of Pentacles reversed means. But here comes this Page of Swords forward to kind of take up the torch for what I couldn't do anymore. So this is kind of an odd reading pile too, and it's not anything really, and I don't mean this as like in like a negative way. It's not anything like super revealing in terms of like, it's not like this mind-blowing message, but it really is a message of appreciation for what you've done with the place that you live. Especially if it is related to someone who lived there that couldn't do it anymore before they passed away. I think that's where the spirit comes in. She's definitely like a nice older female energy. Yeah, especially with Emperor reversed too. Definitely not masculine. And I think if you hear crows around your place, or owls, Or if you see cardinals a lot too, or if you have a cat, or I guess it could be like multiple pets, but specifically a cat was referenced here. If a cat or a pet of yours tends to react a lot to like kind of weird things outside, you're like, why is my cat looking out there? Or why is my dog doing this? Or, like, you know, because sometimes you have pets and they see things that we don't, you know, like, why is my cat looking at that weird thing in the corner that is about person height and I can't see it? You know what I mean, Pile 2, if you've experienced it, you know what I'm talking about. It's like things like that where I feel like this pet just, especially cats, like they react to the spirit when they're around. But as I said too, some of you, this might be a nature spirit as well. Either way, then if it's a nature spirit, Pile 2, if you're not really feeling this resonating with like an older female figure, as I said, this is a general reading, so some of you might be different. Then it's like this nature spirit that's like appreciative of what you're doing with. You must garden a lot, I wonder, and they really appreciate that. And I think they might send the crows as a way of, and other animals towards your garden as like a way of appreciating what you do with it. I wonder if some of you even live in an area where there really aren't a lot of gardens, so your house or your apartment really stands out for like how much greenery you have around. Because I'm getting this feeling or this sensation of like, to this spirit, you're kind of like an oasis in a desert with what you do with the place in terms of greenery and like growing things and the way that you decorate it. It's kind of what they're trying to say here. And like you brought forward like, like that control or that reign over this again, or like, especially if it's like a nature spirit, like it gives them more, with more of like nature around, it gives them more of like an anchoring there. Or same thing too, if it is like the older female human spirit we were talking about for some of you, same thing. I think she was really drawn to like gardening in her life. So it's this feeling of like, oh, this makes it feel like my home again. Like it makes me feel like I am at peace with this, or it's nice. So, I mean, it's just kind of a compliment reading, I guess. I mean, it's a good thing. Let's look at your last oracle deck. I want to see if there's any parting messages they have. But, I mean, I guess that's just what they wanted to tell you, is thank you for taking care of the space. I mean, that's a pretty good message. Anything else, Spirit, you want to say to pile number 2? You know, be it the older female spirit coming forward, or like nature-oriented spirit? Just really kind of a cute reading. I don't know. It's very sweet. Alright, let's look. We have, oh, beautiful. Like, literally, they're like, this is so beautiful. She literally has, like, rose or some sort of flower petals around on her skirt. Once again, we have feminine energy as well. So, literally, this is an odd reading, Pile 2, but it's cute. Literally, like, well, thank you. It's beautiful. Thank you for putting this together and making it pretty again. Thank you so much. Beautiful. I will draw some last tarot cards just to see if there's any other message they want to send to you. Maybe I can even ask, like, specifically, what do they like about what you've done? Spirit, what do you like about what they've done? Oh, and once again, I just realized this. We have 2 figures that are, well, at least especially this one right here, as I said, I was like, I wonder if they wear white a lot. Remember I said that earlier? And then this beautiful card, there's like a white dress. Maybe they tend to wear a white dress a lot, or I know some figures, spirits just show up kind of like white colored. Anything else you want to say to them? What do you like about the space? What's beautiful about it? And if you do garden, they like watching you garden. So if you've ever felt like a weird being watched feeling while you garden around your house, if that resonates with you, it's that spirit. They're friendly, so don't worry about it when it happens. God, this reading is cute. It's so sweet. All right, let's see. What do they like about it? Page of Wands reversed. Okay, interesting. We'll see what else pops out with that. 4 of Pentacles reversed. Very generous. You're not stingy about it. I think you might spend a lot of money on it. They're happy about that. Also, I think, as I said, like with this particular reading, I felt like some of you, it's your garden or like what you do with the outside of your place, or even some of the interior decorating is like maybe like it's kind of like an oasis in a suburb, or like an oasis in a desert of some sort, in terms of like you do it a lot differently than the people around you. Like you make it more lush, whereas like a lot of the places around you, or like apartments or houses around you, are very like dead, I guess is how I would put it. Like just a suburban jungle rather than actual gardens and like outdoorsy feeling, like trees and flowers and plants of all kinds. And then we have the Nine of Swords reversed. They like how peaceful you've made it too with that Nine of Swords reversed. It's like they think it's beautiful because it's peaceful, and you have a peaceful energy that's generous. And then also the Page of Wands reversed is like you're not... how do I interpret that? Let me look closer at that one for 1 second. Yeah, because we have, and it might be hard to see in this particular card from the camera distance, pile number 2, but there's literally like a fence here, and it's like the spirit is like outside the fence, and then there's like a less distinct figure on the other side. So it's like you don't care about like strict boundaries with this. It's like you let things just be lush and natural, and organic is like a word that's really coming forward prominently. So yeah, I guess the spirit wanted to, well, they want to say hi, number 1, but then also number 2, they wanted to hype you up for your kind of outdoorsy gardening and interior decorating skills, which is very, very sweet. Like I said, it's not like a mind-blowing reading, but I guess it's also, I mean, some of you that might not have known that spirit was there might be enlightening in that way, in terms of like, oh, okay, well now I know when I'm gardening or what I do. I also might also just be creative things in general. Like I said, some of them might, if you're like a creative person, like you like to sing or write music or play music or paint or whatever is like your creative outlet, they might like to kind of like watch you do that too. It makes them very happy. Or same thing too, if it's a nature spirit, even if it's not like a human spirit, whatever you're doing well, they like it. So that's kind of what they wanted to tell you. Very cute today. Okay, lighthearted reading for you, pile number 2. Thank you so much for tuning in for your reading today. And as I always say, I hope you liked it. I hope it resonated, and I hope that it helped you, or at least made your little tiny smile on your face. At least it made me smile, at least as the tarot reader. So very cute. And if so, please like the video, comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't done already. And as we always say in our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, pile 2. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about the spirits around you and what messages they have for you. And as you recall, you were drawn to the card of adventure for your pile leader today. Now, my intuition when I look at this card right off the bat is, I think for some of you this might be like a guardian type energy. Sometimes that manifests as an ancestor that is kind of like a guardian spirit of some sort. Some of you, it might be like a guardian angel. And or like if it's a spirit in your home or like a place that you reside a lot, it's someone who is very protective. That's kind of what I'm hearing. So we'll see with the other cards that come forward more nitty-gritty details as to like who's coming forward. And in some piles today already, we've had multiple spirits come forward. So that might be why I'm kind of getting a mixed message in terms of like what specific type of spirit it is, because some of you, it might literally be one or all of the 3. But I know at least this, prominently what's coming forward is a protective energy, as I said. So keep that in mind. Let's put your pile leader over here to the left and begin with the Citadel Oracle to help us determine more about who is coming forward. So spirits coming forward for pile 3, and I think there's multiple of you. Positive spirits only, please. Can you tell us more about who you are? How would you represent yourself to them? Thank you. Who are you? I want to say they watch over your home a lot. Maybe that's where that protection energy comes in. Like, I feel they're protective of you, but specifically, like, it's of your home as well. Yeah, definitely this one. Okay, we have, let's see this. What did I just say, pile number 2, or 3? I was going to call you 2 for some reason. What did I just say? I'm like, I think they're kind of protective. And then we have the sentinel come out, literally like a shield. And a sentinel is someone who watches over something. Like, I swear to God. Okay, you saw that. You saw me pull it after I said it, right? We have with the element of that is air. And it says determination and certainty. Yes. Okay. Protective spirit for sure. My intuition was right. Got it. Thank you, spirit. Awesome sauce. Okay. And then we also have the card of the assassin. All right. Bit of a darker card with ruthlessness and conviction. Yes. Fire element. So air and fire. Air and fire makes me think of, traditionally, those elements are masculine energy, pile number 3. So I think this is probably, for most of you, a masculine figure coming forward. Someone who's very protective, and that might even be why, specifically, this person is very protective. You know, traditionally we associate masculinity with protectiveness, although, of course, you know, no matter your gender, you can be protective of things, right? You know what I mean? But in general, that's what I'm feeling, especially with the Sentinel card having come out. And then the Assassin is like, yes, like they're ruthless about it. So, some of you, I'm hearing this as a spirit within your home that's protective that might not necessarily be related to you or like a guardian spirit, but functionally they act kind of as one because they're protective of you. So, I'm curious, though, for those the spirit is not related to you, I'm curious why. It might be that they, this often happens, they perhaps passed away in the home or the apartment that you live in or whatever your living space is, you know, kind of take it how it resonates with your situation, right? And, or like they lived there at one point, and sometimes spirits can get kind of, not defensive, but like touchy about like the way things are in the home or place that they lived after they passed away, because they're like, well, this is how it was when I was alive, and I like this. So for those of you that maybe you have a spirit, this is kind of sounding like it resonates, I think they tend to be, maybe some things go bump in the night when you've changed things. Maybe some things go bump in the night when you have, like, new people over, too. Like, they're not mean, because, like I said, we only ask, like, positive spirits to come forward, but they're very much so, like, I'm the bouncer for your house. I'm gonna guard your door. They're kind of like a guard dog type of spirit, or like, yeah, bouncer is like a really good word. Because I kind of see them like this masculine figure, especially. I think he's older. He feels older to me. He's bald and he's kind of, oh, this is weird. Oh, you're going to laugh. He kind of looks like Mr. Clean in the freaking Mr. Clean commercials. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, he looks like that type. Like wearing a white t-shirt, he's got his arms crossed, but he's not happy like Mr. Clean. He's more like, oh, I'm like not grumpy, but he's in the for some reason, Mr. Clean came forward. I don't know. Anyways, take it as it resonates, right? But he crosses his arms, and he's kind of like that bouncer type, like, you're going to have to get through me to get through the house. But he's not mean. He's literally doing it because he cares about you and or, like, the space or, like, your family. You know, of course, depending on, like, your living situation, who lives with you, things like that. Especially for a lot of you that are, like, single females, I am hearing... he tends to be extra protective of you because he almost kind of sees you like a daughter figure, sort of. So it's like that kind of like nice protective energy. You know, maybe even especially like if you have, like I said, when you have new people over, it's like that dad energy of... Like, I don't know, this is gonna sound so weird. Some of you, it might even be like if you're feminine and like you're into men, like maybe if you have like men over, like a boyfriend over or something, like the first time they came over, like something happened that was kind of spooky. It was this guy. He was like, well, you know, what's this dude doing over here, you know, with my, not a daughter, because you're not, I don't think you're related to this person. I mean, some of you, it might actually be an ancestor. It might be like a grandfather figure kind of watching over you, like, I'm gonna be the bouncer for your door because... No way anyone's going to hurt my granddaughter, like, whoever this might be. It could be an uncle. It could also be, like, some masculine figure in your family, but even if it's not, like, they're not related to you, for some reason, he's very protective of you. Like, who's this new dude over at your house? Or, like, who's, you know, or, like, same thing, too. Like, no matter your gender, if you're into dudes, like, for some reason, I'm specifically hearing when you have... like men over that are new, they're like, he's like touchy. I don't know. It's weird, but it's in a good way. It's not mean, but if you have noticed that there are like spooky things that happen when new, especially masculine people come into your place, that's why. Because he's like, oh man, I gotta keep an eye on this person. That's where the ruthlessness comes in with the assassin. Not that literally he's gonna like stab anybody, obviously, but like, but it's like that, you know, I need to be protective. I need to be, you know, and I almost wonder if it's something to do with like their own life when they were alive, that they felt that they couldn't protect somebody. So it's like now in death that they do. It's that kind of energy, or like, or even if it wasn't like a missed opportunity of protecting someone in general, like they were protective when they were alive, and so it's just kind of like come forward, and it might extend to, like I said, to the literally like the place itself, like your home or your apartment where you live, etc., whatever kind of living situation you have, because like they were there and they kind of see it like, you know, I'm the king of this castle, so like I need to be the bouncer at the door. It's that energy. It's cute though. It's very sweet. It's not mean. It's not bad. It's just kind of maybe overprotective sometimes. It's kind of like having, you know, like a dog that you really love and they're very sweet, but then whenever like a mailman comes by, like the dog barks and freaks out because it's like, oh, intruder, or like, oh, new person, I gotta freak out. It's kind of like that sort of energy, but like obviously like a human spirit is what I'm hearing. So spirit, Mr. Bouncer, Mr. Clean. Can you tell me a little bit more about like yourself, or like the theme of what it is you want to say to pile 3 today? Thank you. Yeah, definitely like a grandfather for some of you. Well, that popped out. Definitely like a grandfather for some of you. And or just an older man. Okay, we have the 2 of Swords. Ooh, a choice. Something about a choice they want you to make, or he wants you to make. And then once again, we have like an innocent girl figure here in white. Yeah, it's like they see you as, for those of you that are especially like single women that live alone, like this person or the spirit sees you as like, oh, this is this innocent thing I need to protect. I need to make sure they don't get hurt. And it's like there's something about a decision that you're making in your life soon that they want to comment on. And I think the reason why is because they had to make a similar decision when they were alive. And they want to give you advice on it for that reason. And 2, with the bull thistle, I almost wonder if this person, for some of you, they might have been Scottish, because I always associate the thistle with Scotland, of course, right? I think it's their national flower. Anyone that's Scottish, feel free to correct me. I'm sorry. I have ancestors from Scotland. I should know this. I think it's the thistle, right? The big, like the purple meadow flower, right? And yeah, it's like I'm hearing, and of course that means like the surname would be like Mac something. Oftentimes that's very common in Scottish surnames, right? And or if this is like a grandfather that you're recognizing, like he might not have been, it depends on where you are in the world, obviously. Like I know, like here in the US, you might have a family name that passed down that was like, say, Scottish, but it didn't necessarily mean that like that grandfather that we're talking about, if that's how this resonates with you, like his parents maybe have been from Scotland, or his grandparents, etc., but like he might not have been, but he still kept the name, like, you know what I mean? Things passed down. So for some reason Scottish, I don't know. That, or they liked Scotland as a culture. Like, culturally, or they visited there or lived there at one point. I don't know. Something with that thistle. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. The choice. Okay, so can you tell me more in general, like, with a whole spread, Spirit, for pile 3? What is it that you, like, want to say to them? More about the message about the choice. Like, from beginning to end, like, what's going on? What's your advice for, like, the later cards? Okay, right off the bat we had, and we'll flip them like this way, so we'll take the 2 of Cups reversed. You know what? I swear to God. When I was saying earlier, pile 3, I was like, I think when it comes to your relationships, he's especially protective, and then you got the relationship card reversed. Or like one of the relationship cards reversed, or the 2 of Cups reversed can mean like a relationship in disharmony. I'm going to hold my tongue. I think there's a message coming for it. Let me see what else pops up. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry I'm laughing, pile number 3. Okay, I was right. You don't have to take the advice. And he's saying it because he's protective of you. But there's a bad relationship he wants you to end. That's literally what those 2 cards mean. I was going to say it and I was like, oh wait, let me wait. And then the world came out and I was like, okay, I get it. Because the 2 of Cups reversed is, like, as I said, a relationship that's in bad harmony. It's like, or he sees it as, like, not, like, oh, this person isn't good for you. Could be literally romantic, or it could be, like, a friend, too. Or maybe you're having current issues with a family member, too, that's, like, the harmony's out of or, like, the relationship's out of harmony. Like, there's no resolution to it. And he's saying, I want you to end it. But the world. That means like the closing the chapter on something. You don't have to take the advice, pile number 3. If some of you are listening to this and like, well, my boyfriend or my girlfriend is grand and great. Like, what is he talking about? This, it might just be his overprotectiveness. Okay, so just grain of salt. No offense, Spirit. We love you for being protective, Mr. Clean. But all right. Okay, let's look at the other 3 cards. This is such a cute reading, though. Just think of it as like a really overprotective dad or grandfather. That's where he's coming from. Okay, it's not, sometimes he's just overprotective. Although maybe you are saying like, oh, okay, I can kind of see what he means about a relationship out of harmony. But all right, what else? The King of Swords reversed. Okay, and the reason why is because he's saying he doesn't like the way that person talks to you. He doesn't like the way that person, and once again, we have a king here in reverse, which is obviously like masculine, being a king. So I think a lot of you, it might be a male person that he is talking about. He does not like the way that he talks to you. Like, they might be really sharp of tongue, and they might be like brutal with the way that they talk to you. Those things. He's like, I want you to end this because they don't talk to you like they're supposed to. And then we have the Knight of Swords reversed. Yes, okay. Another kind of meaning of like something that's not... Well, and also we have... It's like a headless horseman. I'm sorry. I'll talk about the Knight of Swords in a second. It's literally the headless horseman. He also thinks they might be kind of dumb. I feel bad saying that. Especially, and don't take this to heart, pile 3, as I said, if you're recognizing who he's talking about, and you're like, well, this person's nice, what are you talking about? That's just the overprotectedness, okay? It's not necessarily reality. No offense, Spirit, Mr. Clean, but with the headless symbolism, it's like literally like, well, because the King of Swords reverse can also mean someone that's stupid, or like a masculine figure that's like dumb, and especially with like the headless horseman, it's like, oh, well, he doesn't have a head, he doesn't think right. Like, his head isn't screwed on right. He doesn't talk to you right. I don't like the way he speaks to you. And then we have the Knight of Swords, which is... I'm not sure what kind of spirit that is. I'd have to look at the guidebook again. But the Knight of Swords reversed is, yeah, someone that takes action that's immature with the way that they speak as well. They're immature in the way that they think. Okay. And then the 8 of Pentacles. So being hard at work at something. Working hard on something. And... like, I think he's acknowledging, okay, so for those of you where you're kind of nodding along and you're like, yeah, I get who he's talking about, and yeah, I get why he wants me maybe to kind of, end things, right? Especially with the world. Like, you agree with his advice. You're like, yeah, I get it. He's saying he knows that it's hard work. That's what the 8 of Pentacles means. He's like, I know it's going to be hard work, but I don't like what this person does. And or, like, even if it's not, like, someone that you're dating or that you're friends with or, like, a family member with, if it's more so, like he might just get upset when they're at your place where the spirit, like, resides with you, it's because they don't like he doesn't like the way that they talk when they come into your place. Okay. That's another thing that popped for. But yes, yeah, the 8 of Pentacles is like, well, like, I know it's going to be hard for you, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Because that's the 8 of Pentacles is, yes, someone has to work at something very slowly and repetitively, and it might not be like the easiest kind of like extraction or like separation of some sort, but he's like, I know in the end it's going to be worth it. Because like the 8 of Pentacles, at the end you get the 9 of Pentacles, which is lots of plentiful fruits and harvest from your labor. Like, it's going to be worth it in the end. Okay. That, or like if you're recognizing this but you're like, well, why is he mad about this person? This person isn't that bad. That might be him admitting here with the 8 of Pentacles, well, I know I'm kind of hard on them. Maybe I'm a little bit too rough, but, I don't like the way they talk to you. He needs to talk to you nicer. That's kind of what he's saying. So, okay. What else would you like to say, Spirit, for pile 3? I apologize if I called you Mr. Clean, but that's what you kind of look like, so. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like that comparison. I don't know. God, I love this topic because every reading today has been just very sweet or like kind of heartwarming in a way. Okay, this one. He says this one. We're going to pick create. It's interesting because it says create, but her head is down. I think the reason why he doesn't like the way that this person talks to you is because he doesn't like the way it makes you hang your head. Oh, that's kind of sad. That's very heartwarming, though. It's very sweet. And then let me draw a clarification on that. Spirit for Mr. I apologize. I'm going to call you Mr. Clean. Please just understand. The spirit for pile number 3. Can you give me a clarifier on create? What do you mean by that? Yeah, I swear to God, this is either a male ancestor of yours or this just like super protective. The Tower reversed, avoiding a disaster. For those of you that you're agreeing with his advice in terms of like you recognize who this person is and you agree that, yeah, that person isn't very nice to me the way that they speak to me. He's saying this to you to end it because he wants you to avoid a disaster of some sort. He wants you to create like a better path forward because of that. For those of you that you might not necessarily like agree with him, like you're like, well, this person is perfectly fine. Like, okay, yeah, maybe they talk too loud, or maybe they're, kind of sarcastic sometimes, that type of thing. Like maybe you think, oh, he's being a little bit overprotective. In that way, let's see, create with the Tower reversed would be... In that way, then he's kind of being like, well, if you're going to make your bed, then lie in it. That's kind of what I'm feeling off of that. Yeah, you don't have to take his advice, pile 3, but he's a bit opinionated and he thinks you should. But we'll just, yes, you take that as you will. Anyways, we love you, Mr. Clean Spirit. All right, anything else you want to say to them? Like a parting message with maybe 2 or 3 tarot cards? Anything else you want them to know? I love this guy. He's funny. He doesn't think he's funny, but he's funny. Okay. This is just very kind of cute. It's very endearing. All right, we have the 9 of Wands reversed. I know you're tired. Okay, you're tired. Your heart is hurt. Yeah, he's very caring, pile number 3. He just cares about you. He says, I know. Yes, King of Cups, yep. So I want to say, for those of you that might recognize who he is, like if you're like, oh, that sounds like my grandfather or my uncle or something like that, or my father, depending on who's passed on in your family, I think he was a water sign, because you do have a lot of cups coming out here with this particular spread, and that's what I'm hearing intuitively. And he's saying, like, I know your heart is tired and your heart feels kind of hurt in some way. Now, for some of you, like, if you agree with the person he was talking, or if you agree with him on the person that he was talking about, he's saying, I really want you to care more about your heart, about the health of your emotional heart, and how tired you feel because of this situation. He's like, I'm protecting your emotions. That's why I'm doing it. And once again, we have, like, this older figure here. In white. It's like an older man. He kind of does look like He literally looks like Mr. Clean, I swear to God. I mean, a robed Mr. Clean, but he looks like him. Anyways. If you ever see a spirit around your house that looks like Mr. Clean, that's why. Anyways, okay, so... But for those of you that might not necessarily agree with his advice, you're like, well, that person isn't that bad, right? He's saying, just make sure you take care of your heart, and when you get too tired to look after yourself, maybe you tend to fall asleep spontaneously a lot. Like maybe you fall asleep on the couch because you're working. Maybe that's the 8 of Pentacles came along, because that's the card, as I said, of like working very hard. And like he recognizes that you work really hard. He's like, I know you're tired. That's that 9 of Wands reversed. I'm so tired and like heart weary, because it's like he recognizes that you work hard and that you're tired. So he's like, please make sure to take care of yourself. Just like pure grandpa energy, like positive grandpa energy here. So beautiful reading. I hope the Mr. Clean comparison didn't make anyone run away laughing, but that's what he looks like, I swear to God. So wonderful. You have a spirit that cares a lot about you, I'll tell you that. Even if you don't always agree with him, he cares a lot. Maybe even if you recognize who this was in life, like say it was a grandfather, or he is a grandfather, I should say present tense. And maybe he was like this in life too. Like at any time you were like, well, here's my new partner, or here's my new friend, he'd like scrutinize them really closely, be like, I don't know. But it's out of goodwill. It's out of benevolent reasons. Okay? So that was your reading for today, pile number 3. Whether you agree with him or not, that's what he wanted you to know. So Take it as you will. Take it as it resonates. I hope, of course, most of all that you liked it and it resonated with you and it helped you, right? And if so, please like the video, comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as we always say in our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, Pile 3.